We are live.
Oh, we're live.
Okay. Welcome everyone. Dash Coffee. Hole in the Wall Road. Hole in the Wall Road.
Black Horse Avenue.
Black Horse Avenue. And I have the amazing. I'm dying to get somebody from the hair and beauty industry on a while. So we have Katrina with us today.
Hello,
How's
everyone.
things?
Good. Enjoying the sunshine.
Yeah, no, it's whopper.
Yeah.
It's really nice. Different location today. Normally I do them by the sea, but today, dragged up Phoenix Park. My dad's from Cabra originally.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's from Cabra West,
no
yeah,
way.
Killala Road. So,
No, I know it well.
So, we had an amazing conversation before.
We did, yeah.
We're talking about when people win me over straight away, when I hear them Atomic Habits, I'm like, I love this person. They haven't even said it, and I love them already. It's a great book.
One of my favourites. I've read it about 5 times, and I have on Audible, and I still go in and out of it.
Yeah.
And I actually, when I wanted to give up cigarettes for years, and I gave them up for about 5 years, went back on them, gave them up, went back on them, and then I was just really determined. But I read Atomic Habits, and I just don't even want to smoke. It was that habit, and again, it was a habit. That's all it was. It was just a habit. But Atomic Habits is just unreal. It's just one of them books that I think everybody needs to read. Yeah,
that's a good one. I'm doing on the page at the moment. It's like a pull-up challenge. So it's 20 pull-ups.
I seen it, but I have a frozen shoulder, so I was like, I can't get into that
every day. Do you know? And the next challenge you're gonna do, when this one is over, I'll still like there was a push-up challenge that was organised by someone else. I'm still doing the push-ups. I've just added in pull-ups.
Yeah.
And next month when we do the new challenge, which is read 20 pages a day of a book,
I'll do that.
Tag us in the book.
Yeah.
You know, and I'll bounce up a few of them every day. Tag us in the book, as well as doing your push-ups and your pull-ups if you can.
Yeah.
It's all
brilliant.
About 1% marginal gains.
Absolutely. That 1% better.
Yeah.
Makes such a difference to your life, though.
No, it does.
And I think that's sometimes the problem is that we set ourselves too high of a challenge.
Yes.
When sometimes it's actually just consistent small changes can change your life.
Yeah. No, it's the small stuff.
Yeah.
It really is. It's like what he talks about, them big goal setters. And I always used to. And then straight away you're setting yourself up for a fall.
Yeah.
But it's like, what can I? And then that little bit adds into that little bit. And whereas if I said to you, Katrina, read 20 pages, do 20 pull-ups, do 20 pull-ups, you'd say, oh, fuck off.
Yeah.
That's. Whereas when you add them in, and then
makes it. Do you know? Actually, it's funny. I did. So I have a few kind of business coaches and mentors, and I'll just ask people to be my mentor. Know, or I'll like pay for coach as well. But I did this 5-day challenge with a guy in the UK called Gary Das. But like that as well, the challenge was all about, you started off doing one thing, and then day 2 you did that one thing and a new thing.
Yes.
And then day 3 you did the one thing, the two thing, the second thing, and then the third thing. So by day 5 you were doing all of them. Do you know what I mean? And it made such a difference, and it was all about social media and lead generation and stuff, but it made such a difference to just the consistency, but also realising by Friday you were quicker.
Yeah.
And Friday you were doing 5 things as opposed to, day 1 you were just doing one thing, and day 1 I found like I was struggling nearly, whereas day 5 you're just like getting it done, and it's just that 1% better. And I think if you make something achievable, it's easier as well to add on. It's like adding things, habit stacking. Yeah,
no, it's you were talking about running a 5k earlier on, and it's like, just start off with that 1k.
Yeah.
Just start off with the 1k. Yeah. But everyone wants to go, no, I want to run the 5k. No, stay on the 1k, the 1k, then 1.5k.
Yeah.
But we want, I think it's modern life, we want everything like instant.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
You see things and you're like, or you might see somebody doing a 10k run or a marathon, you're like, I'm going to do that. And you've set your bar too high, so when you don't even close to reach that, you think, there's no way I'm going to be able to do a marathon, there's no way I'm going to reach 5k. But I was explaining to you that I did like a list of 40 things before I'm 40, and one of them was a 5k run, and I'd get out every day for 40 days, and I'd run, but like there was some days, the one thing that I learned about running is it never gets easier. If anything, you either get a little bit faster on a particular day, but you're still going to have those times where you challenge. And I think business is like that as well. Business never gets easier. You just get better at, like, you know, I guess working out your solutions, or not making mistakes as much. You're still going to make them, but you'll kind of start to look at things as a whole, or you'll learn more as well. But running, I was saying to you about David Goggins' book, Can't Hurt Me Now. So I was after reading it. A friend of mine, Dan Sweeney, he had recommended it. He runs a lot as well, and I read it, and then I was listening to it on Audible. And one of the days, like, I was in my head saying to me, like, I actually was like, right, I'm going to go on a run today, but I kept going into my own head saying, you're too tired, like your legs are sore. And I caught that thought, like I was aware of that thought, and I was like, no, Katrina, you are flying, you have loads of energy. And I just kept saying it and saying it and saying it. So I got up and I started to run that day, and like I reached, I think it was close to 8k, listening to David Goggins' Can't Hurt Me Now. I actually felt like David was like, come on, Katrina,
let's go.
So it's mad how that morning started off with me telling myself I was too tired, to me reaching my highest ever, like, you know, achievement in me running that I've ever done, like, even to this day. You know, and it's just, it's that mindset, isn't it? It's just,
no, it's I like that. And once I was talking to you for literally, I pulled up, you walked over with 2 coffees, I'm talking to you for 3 minutes, and I'm like, this chick is on my wavelength. Straight away you're pulling out daily Stoic books, and I'm just like, I love that stuff.
I'll have to read that.
We'll read that at the end, because that's something to leave. And I was saying to you earlier on, I was talking to Paddy Douglas, Paddy, walking up the beach, and the passage you read is what I was speaking to him about. Walking up.
It's mad, isn't it? And it's funny because, like, with the Daily Stoic, there's a date on each page, and you can read it as the year goes on. But I love to just open it. And again, Brian Penny, a friend of mine. If you don't know Brian Penny, definitely follow him. But Brian was a heroin addict for 17 years, and he brought a book out all about his life, and he's changed his life, and he's like a neuroscience person. He's deadly. But he sent me this book, but now what I love to do is I just open it randomly. So today I opened it randomly, and like I was like, I'm going to read that. But when I was reading it, it really resonated with social media and how the world is at the moment, and you know. So we'll read it at the end. No
worries. So I'm going to talk about you now. Ask you, where did you grow up?
So I grew up in Blanchardstown, Fort Lawn Park, and I believe at the time there was a group of people called the Fort Lawn Freedom Fighters. Robbed cars and stuff like that. But so I lived there up until I was about 7, and then we moved down to near Black Horse Avenue, so Dublin 7. And I've been here. Well, I actually bought an apartment a good few years ago, probably about 2008, when the crash happened. It was the worst time to buy, and straight away negative equity.
Look at your view, brick wall, 800 grand,
like
1 bedroom.
Literally, it was mad, because even like a year later, like some of my team who were working for me, you know, bought like 3. Like, what you call it, like a 3-bedroom house that was like, you know, a lot less than what I was after buying a 2-bedroom apartment for. But look, it is what it is. And then we moved back, when we had kids, we moved back over to Dublin 7 again, and now we're back living with my mum and dad. Saving for the mansion.
Whopper. And so you lived here. How were you like in school, or where did you go to school?
So I went to school in Cabra. Well, actually, first of all, primary was Mary Hebb Christians on the Navan Road, and then Cabra, Dominic's in Cabra. So I was there, and it was funny because, like, I always felt like my teachers didn't get me. There was 2 teachers that got me, because I'm a real creative through and through. I didn't really know what that meant, because back at the time as well, like, I'm 41 now. So at the time, I think the education system was totally different, and there was, you know, creatives was home economics or art, like they didn't realise that it was actually going to be a business. Do you know what I mean? So my business studies teacher told me that because if someone made like someone laugh, I'd be the one that would be still laughing when everybody stopped, because I'm a real chuckler. I love laughing. Like, life is for laughing.
You got grabbed.
Like, so Katrina out, and you know, I'd be still outside like laughing. But I remember my teacher saying, if you don't be more serious about, you know, your life, you're gonna amount to nothing. But she just never took to me, and it was because I struggled. I really struggled. But the two subjects that I did best in, they were two teachers who had they just took a shine to me, and they just supported me. And one of them was my maths teacher, Miss Bateman, and I always think of her, and she was very much like, this is what we're doing, and she was on it, but she was very good with showing you, you know, how to do things. So even though she was still, you know, I would say strict, she wouldn't be strict and then not show you. She'd come over and show you exactly how to do something, and she'd spot people that struggled. And then one of my history teachers as well, like, she was just lovely. She was kind of like a boho queen. Like, I'd say she'd go see someone.
Oh, sea swimmer.
But she was just so lovely, and but like that as well, she just had time for everybody in the class, and you could kind of be yourself around her as well. And so, like, I definitely struggled in school. So I left school when I was 15, and I became a hairdresser. But at the time, I wanted to be an actress. So my mum and dad said that I couldn't leave school unless I had a real job. So I just went into hairdressing, because at the time it was you could get a job as a hairdresser and leave school, and it was an apprenticeship. So that's why my mum and dad were like, we'll let you leave if it's something that you love to do, which I'm delighted that they did as well. But it turns out I kind of needed business studies, like, you know, because obviously I'm a business owner.
You have to pay the man.
You got to
the
pay
taxes, the man, the woman, the revenue, the suppliers.
That's it. It's all of them. But I still don't. I don't regret my journey. I'm glad I left school when I left school, because I think, you know, everything about it. Like, I'm left-handed, and even in hairdressing, most people that were teaching me were right-handed.
Yes.
So now, and I'm an educator, and I'm an educator for Jacob. I've been in LA, I've been, you know, in different parts of Europe, and last year actually I was meant to be teaching in Portugal, and I was supposed to be in Italy. There was a few different places, and everything obviously got cancelled. But I actually educated in Italy 2 weeks ago via Zoom, which is brilliant.
Savage.
But now, like, as an educator, because all of my educators were right-handed, I can educate someone with my left hand and my right hand. So if I'm doing one-to-one training and somebody is, you know, left-handed, I can show them with the left hand. If they're right-handed, I can show them with the right hand. So, like, I don't blame, you know, I don't think that as a bad thing that everybody was teaching me with their right hand and making me use my right hand, because now I actually use it as a power. Do you know, does that make sense?
My mother was a left-hander. And the nuns used to tie her left hand to her side and make her, because they used to say to her, the left hand was the devil's hand. My youngest son is a lefty now, and any lefties you ever come across in football or boxing, they're always super creative and savages. Savages.
And I do think, like, lefties, like, our minds think different. Like, it's mad. I can see things that other people can't see in a situation. I can read people that, like, you know, others might not read. Now, don't get me wrong, there's lots of stuff that I might not see that others do see. But there's like little intricate things that I can catch. I don't know whether it's my left. I believe it's that left side kind of.
Without lefties and people that were creative, my younger son's very creative, artistic, loves drawing, loves creating stuff. Without people like that, and with a school system that we have that doesn't, you were talking about earlier on, which it promoted, they've kind of clued into it a bit better nowadays, but life would be very boring without the artists, without the poets, without the hairdressers, without the designers, you know.
We challenge, like, I think the designers and the artists and the creatives, like, we challenge the system. Do you know that way? So everything else is, like, I guess, systematics, but we challenge it, and I do that within my business. So I do things that maybe the industry aren't ready for, and I'm okay with that. So, like, even with everything that was going on, you know, there's lots of people that were doing, like, say 4-day weeks within their salons, but I wanted to try and create something, because when obviously COVID hit, I was thinking of like, what did it mean for me as a business owner? What did it mean for my team? And it was creating that bit of space, like Mother Earth telling us to just stop and just slow down and look and appreciate everything that's around us. And, you know, I was somebody that, like, you know, I had in my head, when you're a business owner, you have to be there all the time. You have to be busy, and you have to, you know, be seen to be doing things. But the one thing that we created that has changed everything for us in the salon, and made it a better salon financially and a better place to work, and like a place that, like, when I sent I do surveys for my team, so I sent a survey out to them last week, and one question I always ask after every lockdown: are you coming back to work? You know, and straight away everyone's like, yes, can't wait to get back. You know, like, and just even reading that, but I understand why, because of the culture that we have there as well. But we do a 3-day week, so we do a 3-day working week, 3 days on and 4 days off, and we're on 2 separate teams. So say team A work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 12-hour shifts, but then they're off for Thursday, Friday, Saturday and Sunday every week for 4 weeks. And then they change, so then they will work the weekends, which will be Thursday, Friday and Saturday, and then they'll be off Sunday, Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday. So now my team, like, you know, we all, including me, we have 4 days off every week, and we can do whatever we need to, whether that's working on our mental health, whether it's going for our runs, you know, a sea swim, time with our family, time to do your washing, you know, time to set up for the days that you're in work. Like, and again, it's just really, you know, doing and the amount of salons that said to me, oh, I'd love to do that, but like, I don't think it'd work for us. And I was like, well, you have to try things and you have to fix it to make it work. So I really wanted to do this, and the best way that we could do it was like having 2 separate teams. So, like, you know, if a bit of backup when you've 2 separate teams, then, but they're like, obviously, like that as well comes problems as well. So it's kind of like working out, you know, any little problems that kind of happened quickly on, we tried to fix, you know, sooner rather than later. I'm very aware that I have a finger and tan. I put a bit of tan on last night. I was like, I'll put a bit of tan on, look at my hand. Not that finger. But it's just like, it's working so well. But like that as well, you have to measure things. So what doesn't get, or what gets measured gets managed. So, and that was something that I never really did. Like, if I had an idea, I'd be like, this is a great idea, and I'd just do it. And then years later I'd find out I was losing me money. But in my head and my ego, I'd be just like, this is brilliant, this is working so well. And then you're like, oh, actually no, I shouldn't have done that. So now when we do things, we try and measure it. But anyway, going back to just trying to create like a life for your team. It's not do you know what I mean? Like a life for your team. 100%. And it's not just like, you know, I love work, I love my job, but I love my family. And I love me. And what I've discovered is that I need like fresh air, and I need to be out, like, you know, even at the moment, if it's just out my mum and dad's back garden, like, me and my dad are after been painting it all week and just getting it ready, because we're like, we're going to spend a lot of time here, and like, if we don't get on holidays this year, that's okay, because we all have each other, and we'll just like work on ourselves to get through it all, you know.
We'll find something.
Find something. You know? I kind of went off on a tangent there.
No, it's all good. And who did your apprenticeship as a hairdresser, who did you start that with? So
Kat's Hair Group up at the Westbury Hotel.
Okay.
I had I remember when they talk about me, so I had this perm. I was after getting a perm, and it looked like my hair was permed on
massive
permed on chopsticks. It was like a microphone. And there was this woman that I went to. She was called Nora the Butcher out in Blanchardstown. And I said to my ma, I was like, Ma, can I get a perm? And my ma was like, no, Katrina, everybody has perms, you're not getting a perm. And I was like, Ma, please. She was like, no. And she keeps saying no until I eventually broke her down, and I'd cry, and I was like, I want a perm.
Everyone
everybody has
had
a perm.
Perms. You don't see a perm anymore.
The only one that didn't, I was like, Ma, I'm getting a perm.
Even blokes had perms.
So she eventually let me go out to Nora the Butcher. Like, should have been warning signs, but it was a tenner for me perm. And I swear to God, it was that tight. It was just like I could have just like it was just like, it was like a microphone. But I remember even a photograph of Santa Ponsa, because we used to go to Santa Ponsa for about 12 years every year, and there's one photograph of all of us, like we were all teenagers, and we're all, you know, dressed up in our little floral dresses, and but every one of us had a perm. And I swear to God, there's 12 people in that photograph. I'm like, every one of us had a perm. It was hilarious. But I started off in Cats and loved it there. I learned so much. Like, I just learned kind of, I didn't realise actually I was very shy. even though I could chat to people one-to-one, but like say you put me in a group situation, and sometimes depending who I was around, I would either, you know, I'd retract a little bit, and I'd kind of, you know, maybe not say that, and I could go really quiet, and then people I felt comfortable with, I was much more confident, and I would talk and I could be myself. So I started to learn a lot then, even about, you know, confidence, or when I felt confident, and it generally was around certain people. So I think some people can actually, and it's not them, it's you around them, and the people that, you know, you might think of them.
Some people have big personalities, huge especially, like, I know loads of people in the hairdressing industry, salon owners, and that, be it barbers as well. I know loads of barbers, and the ones you hear are the ones with the big personalities, the alpha, giving it loads. But not everyone has to be like that as well.
No.
We need the people who reflect and think. We need the listeners. You know what I mean? So
absolutely. And the other thing about that is sometimes those people who are louder, who make more noise, who, you know, might try to be disruptive, will probably do better. When I say better on that maybe social scene, because, you know, they're seen to be active, they're seen to be doing things, but they might not be better than you at, you know, they might not be a better creator, we'll say, than you, but they might do better on that social side, but you could be doing better internally. And to me, that's like working on yourself is most important. Like I've helped actually a couple of bosses out, you know, who were doing really, really well, but they were losing team members. And, you know, like, I'm very lucky that I've always been empathetic. So, and that's why I have so many team members still with me. Like, you know, so if somebody comes to me, I always see their side. I never think, like, how is this going to affect me? Now, it served me really well, but also at times it hasn't served me well, because I've put others before myself. But when you get that balance of looking after yourself as well as being empathetic, it's like, it's amazing what you can do. Do you know what I mean? Like with a team of people. But I've had like some bosses come to me to kind of say, you know, how am I going to keep my team, or they won't do this or they won't do that, and I'm like, well, have you asked them how they are? Like something as simple as how are you feeling? You know, instead of like, you didn't do this for me. Or you know, they wouldn't be in the salon, and then they'll just go in and start giving out, like, and I'm like, you don't even know what happened in your salon that day. And you're going in at your team instead of going in and actually being thankful that your team have been there for you while you weren't there, that they've been holding the ship for you while you weren't there. So go in with that empathetic mind and kind of think, you know, how are you today? Was there any challenges for you? Is there anything I could help with? And like, that's, for me, that has really served me, is not being that kind of person that comes in and, you know, complains about, you know, a mirror being dirty, or, do you know what I mean? Even though, like, the mirror's spotless. But it's all about, like, helping. And I went through even that stage of, you know, when things were not good with me, of maybe coming in at times and having those moments of, oh, why is this not done? Or, you know, and it's really not good. It's you know, it's really about appreciating and being grateful for everybody.
You're drawn towards a negative rather than seeing them customers happy, interacting. You know, how's your weekend? You're just drawn towards the negative. Or even, and that's when I see as well, like, financially businesses not doing well. You know, because you're focused on the wrong things. If you actually focus on your team and supporting your team, then they're going to be better for the customer. You know, the customer care is going to be better, and really focusing, like I was saying to you earlier on, like, we work on a growth mindset in the salon, and I notice now anybody who we've taken on lately who we're attracting are people who are working on themselves and have that growth mindset. So, like, to have a team of people who are, like, reading Atomic Habits, or you know, The Power of Now, or you know, so it's not only me now that's reading all these books, and I've been doing it for years, but like, I actually remember being on holidays with my husband's my in-laws. I was explaining to you that my mother-in-law passed away in November very suddenly, and I was so close to her. Like, we just loved each other, like. But I remember being on holidays. We went to not Tenerife, Portugal, a couple of years back. We stayed in this beautiful hotel called Cascade. It was just stunning, and it was a wellness place that we stayed. But you know, she was real escapism, so she would read all these either murder mystery books, or, you know, just romantic books, and
there I am, like sitting, you know, I brought like 3, we'll say, self-help books with me, you know, and she was saying to me, do you not want to just get away? Like, do you not want just escapism? And I'm like, this is escapism for me, because this is like escaping to a new me, if that makes sense, you know, instead of, you know, like, and like I'm okay with not sitting watching TV for hours. Like I love learning about people and, you know, understanding everybody's different love languages, like what we were saying as well. And that's even with your team, like knowing their love language. And again, like some of my team might be, you know, their love language is money, because it's what they can buy for their families and themselves out of that money. Some of them are praise, like, and like I was saying, one of my team members, he would, like, money doesn't necessarily matter to him, but if I, you know, tell everybody about something that he did for me, or, you know, did an Instagram post and praised him in it, he feels good for doing what he did, you know, and he doesn't expect money for it, do you know that way? Like, and it's just understanding what people need on your team as well, as opposed to thinking, we all sometimes think, and that is a problem that we have, is we think everybody is like us. And they're not.
No.
Nobody is.
No.
Nobody is.
Unique.
Yeah.
But in certain stuff we are unique, but in certain ideals we will roll into what our parents have taught us, whether it's good or bad.
Absolutely.
And not that, like, our parents done the best job with the tools that they were provided with, but it's I can look at it 2 ways, and like what I was speaking with you earlier on, we can look at it, the poor me, I'm a bleeding victim, blah blah blah. I can say, well, I'm lacking in this, so I need to read that book. Absolutely. I need to work on that. And I'm very thankful that I was never taught that, so I can discover it myself. Yes,
and that's so true. Like, and I was saying to you earlier on, like, I feel as an adult, like, because I would have kind of blamed my mum and dad for not learning, or not knowing how to save money. So, like, when I got into the shits with revenue, I had Sheriff
revenue.
Alright. Had the sheriff calling into the salon. I was like, hey, became best friends. I'll give you a little text later.
Did you not get that check? It's in the post.
But, you know, and just having though, and it's scary when, like, you know, revenue come knocking and you can't bury your head anymore. And you know, sometimes as well, people who have learned to save, or people who are good with their finances, don't understand when you say to them, you know, I'm bad with this, and then you realise that it's actually it's a mindset around money. So it's a guilt mindset that you didn't even realise it's something that you inherited. And the problem with that mindset around money is that when people actually have that good money mindset, they'll say stuff to you like, it's grand, you just, like, it's so easy, you just spend less than what you're taking in. But when you actually have guilt around money, you don't realise that subconsciously you are either getting loans or you're not minding your money. You don't know how to mind your money, because when you get money, because I never had a problem making money, could make so much money. The problem was that I didn't know what to do with it, and it was a guilt around that. So I actually feel as an adult, once you start to realise, oh, I'm an adult now, I shouldn't be blaming anybody. And it's whatever your parents didn't have the tools or they couldn't teach you is what you should be doing as an adult. And thanking them, exactly what you said, being grateful for them not teaching you, because that's going to be your superpower now. So I've spent the last few years now learning about money, finance, investment, all of that, and I'm going to buy a mansion in 3 years' time.
There you go. I say to my son all the time, and this I'd worked for a while. When the recession really hit, there wasn't a whole lot of electrical work. So I used to drive around the country selling tools and sprays and all types of stuff to farmers.
Brilliant.
It was an experience. But the farmers, who are the only ones doing well in the recession. And one fella gave me some solid advice. He said, John boy, out beyond Ballina somewhere in County Mayo, in order to get a goose, you have to have one. Very good. Savings. You need savings. Put some money away, rainy day money. Say to me young fella all the time, you have to have money. If you don't have money behind you, you know what I mean? We see all these people out and they're rocking the labels and all fur coat and no knickers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You need to have money behind you.
Put
some money away.
It's so true. It's so true, because when you actually have money and you have savings there, you start to look and think, oh, where can I invest that, as opposed to, you know, like just going to credit union or just getting loans all the time. Like, and loans are grand, but if you're doing it if that becomes your norm, you're like you're in a way you're actually going backwards. You're not even present. You're going backwards, because straight away as soon as you take your loan out, you owe already on that. Do you know that way? So you owe something that you haven't even got yet. You know, like your future money is already gone. Do you know what I mean?
Sometimes it feels like someone else's money. It's deadly. Look, it's like, now it's your money and you're fucking buying this. Which, do we really need it? Or, you know what I mean?
And say, like, we've actually we Darcy has a Revolut account now, and we've started to teach her just little bits. And there's a couple of books. I'll share it actually on my stories, but it's growth mindset for children.
Okay.
I just can't think of the name of it now, but it's really good, and it's just little things that you can do with them. And then also finance. Like, I think that, you know, money should be taught in primary school. I think, you know, so the problem is that the people that know about money will still know about it, and they're all, and everybody's teaching it. So, like, for me, I didn't really understand money, but I knew hard work. So now I know it's my job as well as a mammy to teach Darcy everything that I've learned. But then when she grows up as an adult and alone, that whatever I couldn't teach them, you know, that they need to learn. And that's something that I'm going to, like, push them through. But I do, like, I hope as well, like, that whatever that they learn that's new, that I'll be open enough to learn that as well. Because I know even when I'm trying to teach my mum and dad now about money, like, it's like, no. Do you know that kind of way? But I don't know, I keep breaking them down day by day. There's just little things, and I can see my mum starting to think now. It's like, oh, right. You know, even just down to, oh, we're going to get new windows. Oh, no, we can't afford that yet. I'm like, but you will. You will be able to, you know, like, and it's like, oh, no, in a couple of years. No, let's do in 8 months, you know. It's bringing that kind of, setting that goal and the intention that you'll do it, as opposed to eventually. Because eventually sometimes it doesn't happen.
And with your kids... And I shared stories there about Moore Street, going into Moore Street, and it was just, I like thinking back about that nostalgia. I used to go in with me ma, but my grandmother was an eye opener. We know some of the sellers in Moore Street. Deadly. It was an eye opener, because my nana didn't make money talk; she made it raw. You know what I mean? So when she was going in there, she was getting value for money. And she'd be nearly going across counters at people trying to get. So instead of, like, kids just going, they've been robbed of that experience of seeing older folks getting deals, getting bargains with their money.
It's negotiations. That's, like, they were negotiating before.
100%.
Sure. It's so funny, like, you know, because of what we do in the salon, we work on, you know, less clients at a higher value, and the reason for that is the quality of what we do is better. The clients, you know, you're not trying to, it's not a conveyor belt, you're not trying to get clients in and out to make that money. We do less clients at a higher price, but the services are longer. The quality of what we do is much better because of the education that we're able to do. But I remember, you know, there being times where clients would come in and they tried to negotiate with you. I actually had, because I had a salon in Finglas, and I had this fortune teller come into me, and she told me that there was a spell over my love life, and at the time I was single. And she told me that she'd be able to lift this spell if I gave her T-bar highlights.
There you go, T-bar highlights.
She didn't get the T-bar highlights, because I was like, no.
No, it's funny. Yeah, fair play to her.
I know,
chancing her. If you don't chance her arm,
there's a spell over you. But look, I'm married now, so please God, we're okay.
She broke it. But now it's that power of negotiation, and it's money is important. You know what I mean? Like, I think sometimes with Revolut and with credit cards and with cards, people have actually lost that
the
value,
money, the feeling of it.
You know, my young fella, like, the older fella is dead wild. He works, he's dead wild, like, you know what I mean? Wouldn't would pay what his most expensive thing he has is his phone bill. You know, when he works and he does other things to make money. But the younger fella wants his teeth whitened, wants a Canada Goose jacket. You know what I mean? Because all his mates have them, but hasn't a bull's notion of. It's like, you're not getting a Canada Goose. I wouldn't buy one for myself, so you're not fucking getting one. You know what I mean?
But you know what as well? Like, I think, like, when I'm looking at Darcy's 10, so Lona's 5 and Darcy's 10, and she's really creative and she's an artist.
Yeah.
So she actually has a little page on Instagram called Darcy Draws.
Right.
And but she practices every day and she's getting better every day. So she asked could she have her own business. So the night she asked, I was like, yeah. So I went downstairs and I set her up a Shopify website. I just learned how to do it because, and it's funny, I probably wouldn't do it for myself, but when your child asks you to do something, you're like, yeah, on it.
Yeah.
So, and we've just actually got samples of these organic tote bags, and we put one of our prints on them, but they look so cool.
Deadly.
But she's already thinking, so she was like, so how much will I earn off that?
Love her.
And I'm like, oh my God, sure, she still has some of her communion money. And I was never like that. I was like spending, but she does think about things. Now, at the same time, I think you need to spend as well.
No.
Life is not for just saving. I think you need to be able to, like, I've wanted to buy a pair of Chanel boots before the pandemic hit. I was going to get them for me 40th, and then I was like, oh, $1,250 is very expensive for a pair of boots.
For walking around the gaff.
But then I was like, price per wear, I'd wear them a lot because like they're Chanel's and I love wearing black chunky boots and stuff. Yeah. But I actually didn't end up buying them because pandemic hit as well, and but I'm still going to get myself them. I am going to get, even if it's another year or two, because like that as well, sometimes you could be saving and you need to reward yourself as well, especially when you work hard. So like, I think it's okay to do that, but what's not okay is to buy stuff so people outside, like, you know, so people I would say not to spend your money for people to like you. Yes. Do you know that way?
Yeah.
You have to like yourself first and then spend your money.
I am promising myself a Rolex watch.
You're going to get it?
When I'm 50. So I'm going to get myself one.
How many years is that?
It's another 5 years.
You're 45?
45.
Oh, no way.
But
looking fresh.
I don't want to get a Rolex. Like, I want the Submariner.
Right. The particular one. Yeah, right.
And I like nice things.
Yeah.
But I'm not buying that to make myself feel better.
Yeah.
I'm buying it because
it's a little dream, or
I like it.
Yeah.
And I like the craftsmanship, and you know what I mean. So I will get it for myself.
Of course, yeah.
And if my wife is listening to this, Yvonne,
we were talking about it
3 days ago. We noticed us the gold, you know. But like, I'd never put it on Instagram, or it's not for. It's because my brother lives in Switzerland. We've gone to the Rolex shop in Zurich. We've gone through the whole thing, seeing it.
There's a story behind it. Yeah.
Craftsmanship.
Yeah.
Do you know the first man up on Everest?
Yeah.
Was sponsored by
Rolex? No way. Didn't know that.
Edmund Hillary. He wore a Rolex watch up there. Because they're all sporty, outdoorsy.
Yeah.
People think it's all, but Rolex started up for Swiss mountain climbers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's an outdoorsy
deadly
type. Rolex are up on the Matterhorn as
well. So you're going
to
have your Rolex.
Rolex.
I'll be walking past you in my Chanel boots.
Yeah, won't be on Instagram. None of that.
Oh no, I will. I'll be unboxing my Chanel boots. I'll be like, I finally got them.
I'll be like that, driving the van, the old Rolex. Yep.
But I think it's, you know, I think as well, if you've saved for something and it's something that you've wanted, it's nice to show it off too. Do you know what I mean? Like, but I think sometimes, you know, that if that's all you're showing off, like I feel like you know, there's something missing that you need to start working on as well in yourself. Do you know that way? Like, if it's all financially, like, you know, I just feel like is there something lacking there? But maybe there's not. Maybe it's just that I'm like, I wish I had all those designer stuff.
Yeah. I do you know what? Like,
I try not to think too deeply into other people.
No,
if that makes sense. I try to think
of yourself.
Try to think deeply into me. What is it that I feel in that situation? How can I be better? You know, if you think bad about somebody, like, right, what can I do to be better? But whereas I think sometimes people can get into that, you know, that jealous feeling of like, oh, they have that and I don't have this, and I'm like, that's okay. You can make it happen though if you you know, if you work on yourself.
I have to read all these books and digest these books. My wife is just automatically like that.
Yeah.
My wife would say, if I'm doing something or I'm doing something, she go, "What are your motives there?"
Love that.
It's like the true police. What
Yeah.
are your motives for that? And I'm like, I have to think then.
Yeah.
What are my motives?
Yeah.
So Carl Jung also speaks about what irritates us about others leads us to a better understanding of ourselves.
Oh, I love that.
You know,
Love
and
that.
really, like, and people will irritate you.
Yeah.
You're never going to come immune to
Yeah.
it. But it's like what we spoke about our parents or
Yeah.
whatever. It's like that person is teaching me a lesson, and I need, what are my motives for this? And I need to reflect on why that person, what is this? You know what I mean? If you see somebody in X, Y, or Z, why do I? Because I'm feeling not good enough, insecure,
It's
blah,
all
blah,
of
blah.
those.
They're better looking, they're this, they're that.
Yeah.
That's cool. Fucking delighted for them. You know
and
what I mean?
be happy for other people. Like, I have to say, I think being happy for others is like the best place that you can ever be in. Do you know what I mean? Like,
And that's not toxic positivity. I definitely feel that way, because
same.
if I don't feel that way, resentment is something that I cannot afford.
yeah.
I can't afford
Yeah.
it. It's too
And
expensive.
it comes out in your body in other ways as well, doesn't it? Like, it's, you have to, you know, I think if you can be truly happy for other people, then you can be truly happy for yourself.
Yeah.
I think if you can't be happy for others and where they are in their lives, then you will find it very hard to like be happy for yourself. And we know, like, happiness comes from within. And I just think if you have that gratefulness, even just for you can excel and be more and do more.
Yeah.
You know, you really can. Like, so, but I actually have I've something that I'm launching. We're hoping to launch in September. It's not going to happen until next year, which is great because I've actually changed. There's a few things I've changed about it. So good few years ago, I had a makeup brand called Push Makeup, and loved it, did really well, but it wasn't really what I wanted, like, you know, to do. Like, the hair industry is it's my heart, it's what I love, and I'm passionate about people within the hair industry as well. And but I, like, you know, I kind of stopped on a couple of goals, and because I got scared a little bit. I was like, oh, it's too much. Like, I was after I remember going through I was driving my car one day, so I lost one of my businesses and closed our makeup brand down, and I was driving the car one day, and this is before like that happened, but half of my face went numb and half of my arm. My arm went purple, and I got into the salon, into the office, and Elaine, the manager, said to me, "Boss, you don't look right." I said, "I don't feel right." I said, and she said, "Look at your arm. Your arm is purple." So we rang the D-Doc, and they said, "Where are you?" And Elaine said, "We're just down actually near the matter." They said, "Walk Katrina down straight away." So they thought I was having a stroke, so I had to get MRIs, and I was on stroke tablets for like 6 to 8 months. But what I actually had was a thing called an aura migraine. So it's where your body has this migraine, but your body has the migraine and you don't get a headache.
Yeah.
So, but it's very like a stroke. And when I read up on it afterwards, if you have more of these, it can lead to a stroke.
Wow.
So that's when that was my life-changing moment. That was about 3-4 years ago, and I started to work on life coaching, counselling, like going deep within myself. And then I came to that realisation that, you know, I had to let one of my businesses go, and I had to let my makeup brand go and stuff. But it was brilliant because it was actually the making of me to go through something like that, because you start to kind of think,
Yeah.
and I'd be someone, I don't get sick, but then when I'm like not dealing with stress or emotion, I eventually get really sick. Do you know that way?
Yeah.
But yeah, so at the moment there's something that I'm working on, and but that question of every time, like I actually went into again, it was like it's you know, in investors last year, and the question that they keep asking is why, and why are you doing that, and why do you want, and they keep questioning you. And I used to hate people questioning me years ago because I thought that they doubted me. But what I realise is those questions are great because it leads you to find your why and to know why you're doing something. So the thing,
And so you know that answer.
yeah,
Like what I'm telling you here, instead of bluffing, going the reason why.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
and so I would say if anybody
Being
has
responsible, like, for your answer.
Absolutely. And if anybody has ideas of something that you want to do, keep asking yourself why. So now I write, like when I'm journaling, like for what I'll be launching next year, I won't say what it is, but for what I'll be launching next year, I literally for the last, I'd say year, I've been writing down why is it that I want, what is it, like, and keep asking myself why. So much so now that what I'm launching has slightly evolved a little bit into something even better.
Yeah.
So I'm delighted now that I kept pushing myself. So yeah, so if anybody is launching a brand or doing anything, like, keep asking yourself why until you can really come up with that solution to a problem that you're going to solve, and have a story around your brand, because I think people buy from people, and having a story as to why you're doing something is really important. Oh, look at them having their Bulmers after their run.
Savage.
I love that.
Love that. Bulmers after a run. Whopper.
I used to love a little can of Bulmers.
Whopper. No,
do you ever have a bottle of Bulmers with like a lime in the top of it?
No, never.
Massive.
Never.
Oh, fresh in the summer.
Yeah.
It's when I'm off the wine. Sometimes I'm not allowed to drink wine.
My wife loves. My son was playing some rap song, and it's all. You know that all I want to do every day is drinking wine, blah blah. And Yvonne's like, Jerry, he keeps on putting that on and says it's me.
My kids are the same. Should they, like, they'd say, "What's Mommy's drink?" Wine. I'm like, no, it's not.
Oh, it's great. But people buy from people.
Yeah.
Again, that like, what I used to do is I was some dub going down to all these farmers.
Yeah.
Who straight away their backs are up.
They didn't trust you.
Smart aleck. So what I used to do was, and a farmer gave me this bit of advice.
Yeah.
He goes, "You're coming down from the schmuck."
Yeah.
This is what he said to me. He goes, "What you need to know is the prices on beef, the prices for sheep, and the weather report."
Love it.
And I used to read all that, and how I used to get some of my best sales was I knew what the weather was like, and we talk about it.
Yeah.
And I do podcasts because really I like people.
Yeah.
I like talking to
love
people. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
when I was communicating with you last week, you said you loved the dynamic of a conversation between a male and a female.
Yeah.
I used to sell cars as well.
Yeah.
And I done all these sales courses selling cars. And who makes the decision when a husband and a wife are buying a car? Who makes the decision, would you say?
Oh, like, I would say the wife.
Always. Always. We got programmed.
Do you know why I
got dragged to Audi.
Me and Matt, like, well, we're kind of struggling at the moment trying to decide on what car we're going to get.
Yeah.
So I told you my car is not working at the moment. So, and the struggle is, like, it's that kind of. But I know I'm going to get the last say.
You will.
Because I'm the one that's mainly going to be driving it. And
the salesman's going to talk to you. He's not going to talk to him. He's going to direct everything at you. Because all women in every household make 95% of the financial decisions.
Yeah.
that's why the dynamic. That's proven. Like, I got thousands spent on me to go to these sales courses, and they're like, man and woman said, don't fucking talk to him. He'll fucking not. Do not say anything to him about how the car works. Blah blah blah. She is making the decision. Do not waste your time on him.
Brilliant.
And then if you start talking to him, she'll get pissed off, and they'll go to your man up the road who listens to.
That's true, because sometimes you kind of, if there's that conversation, and if it's just being directed towards your husband, like, I have often, like, hello.
Yeah, no, that's MSL up the road. If you're looking for a car, go up to Dermot Gallagher up there. He used to be my brand manager, sound fella. Does PCP, everything, but that is. The woman makes the decision.
Yeah, I'd
makes
well
the
believe
financial decisions. 95% of them.
It.
He might think, and a really good woman will make him think that he's out there making the decision.
That's what I
and
do.
He goes off delighted with himself, but really it's her. You know what I mean?
That's
what happens. Yeah, no, that happens in every household. You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't even have a bank account. All the money goes into my wife's account because she's just better at it.
Oh, sure. Even like we had a joint account like that as well. I set the joint account up, but we'd been talking about it for ages, and I was like, no, we still have our own personal accounts because I think that's important.
Yeah. You need your getaway stash just in case.
Have that little
just in case.
That little Revolut vault.
Yeah.
But like, and but we were talking about it for so long, and then I set it up, and I was like, right, come on, we actually need to start using it, And it does make a difference as well, because I kind of feel like when you have something that's joint together as well, you can kind of like help each other to save, which is what we're doing now at the moment. It's great for the mansion.
Wobber. No, but that's... I'm going to get you to end on that
Oh,
affirmation
yes,
now in
yeah.
a minute. But if anything is achievable, you came out of, you have all your own businesses. And I love people that had, lost, build again. It's like, I'm a scrapper. I'm not giving up.
And that, do you know, that's,
I'm a scrapper.
I really believe a true entrepreneur will keep on going no matter what. And it's about that kind of, you know, it's always that 1% better. So each business, I know each business that I do or each idea that I have, I'll get 1% better because I can see what worked and what didn't work, but I'll also measure things. Whereas sometimes I used to nosedive into things because I thought every idea I had was brilliant. I used to think I was a genius. I still do. But like I'd be like, oh my god, this is, and I'd be so, and like I have that enthusiastic person. I still do. I'm like so enthusiastic about ideas, so much so that people have to just, like, even if they think it's a crap idea, they'll eventually get on board with me because I'll find a way of getting them on board. But now I do look at, you know, like I do kind of look at what problem is it that I'm trying to solve, and that's where most kind of ideas and stuff come from. But the other thing I actually want to say is, like, I always say, like, be open to learning. Every interaction that you have with a person, like, be open to learning from them. Like, that's what I like. That has served me for so many years, and even more so now because I'm more aware. And just like even today, I've learned lots from being here with you. Do you know that way? Like, be open to learning from everybody. Like, even if you think you're the master at what you do, there's someone who might not be in that game, but you will learn something from them, whether it's a life skill or people skill or, you know, financial skill. No, like, when I became an apprentice like yourself, and I had 3 guys I worked under, but one main guy. The 2 others, you find, and you would have come across them, as hairdressers that aren't really great, and it excludes out them because they give you a load of shit and they kind of bark at you and roar at you, whereas someone that's really talented and really good would say, this is what this guy said to me. You're going to be looking at me. If you see anything that I'm doing and you think it can be done a better way, just let me know. Straight away, he had me. I was just like, this guy's God. And he done everything so right that maybe once in the whole 4 years I was with him, but he won me from day one. Because he brought you on that journey knowing that he was straight away going to listen to you, and he was involving you in that, like, in that journey with him, as opposed to telling you. And I think, and that's the good thing about social media, you know, people can see what people are really and truly like at times. And if someone is not being true to themselves on social media, they eventually let the crown slip. Do you know that way? So, or when you go to visit them, you're kind of like, oh, actually, they're a bit different than what they are on social media. Whereas, like, I want to be as honest and raw as I can. So if I'm vulnerable on social media and I can just be myself, that when clients come in, that they're like, oh, Katrina, straight away I feel really comfortable with you because you are exactly what you've put out there. Do you know what I mean? Like, so, and that's, like, it's just, you have to bring people on the journey with you. Like, I'm not going to, when a client comes in now, I'm not going to give out to them for putting home colour in their hair. I want to help them. I want to understand and have empathy that, you know, they had a Zoom call, they were feeling shit about themselves and they had to put, like, you know, a Clairol or a L'Oreal in their hair at home, and that's okay. My job is to the next step and the plan and to fix it for them, as opposed to give out to them for having to do what they needed to do to make themselves feel good, you know. And
it's important that feeling good, whichever way, you know, social interaction, feeling better about yourself. My wife, you know, she gets, when I'm not there, she gets me all day young fella, put on that glove there and put a bit of tan on me back. And he's like, oh, fuck's sake, this is weird. You know what I mean?
I had to do my ma's tan during the week first. She was like, can you put that tan on me back? I was like, yeah. And then when I realised it was my dripping gold, we so soon me dripping gold, I was like, Ma, that's mine. She goes, I know, it's lovely, isn't it? That's the best tan. Like, that's what she said, it goes on great. She said, it's real smooth on me. I was like, it's the vitamin E in it, man. I was like, the cheek of it. But it was funny because I hadn't done that for her in years, you know, so it was nice being, it's been nice being back there, even though it's been a struggle as well, because your parents straight back start to treat you as if you're that 14-year-old child, and you're like, so I've actually had to do, although I've been working on myself for years, last year I've had to do extra work, you know, and with Matt's mum dying suddenly in November as well, myself and Matt we had done some couples counselling, which was brilliant, just for just for us, I think every couple should do it, because you get to have someone who's in the middle of you.
Yeah.
And if Matt was saying something, and if I went to interrupt, she'd be like, no, and I'd be like, oh, sorry.
Oh shit, I don't like her.
But then if I wanted to say something, I'd get the chance to say whatever I wanted, even if I was crying or whatever, and I was just having that, I guess as well, being able to sit and talk to each other as well, and because Matt would be quiet and I'm really talkative, and sometimes it's okay if people want to be quiet as well, and it's understanding to give them that bit of space as well. So then when his mum died in November, it was so sudden, and it's we're still devastated over, because it's still such a shock. But I do think that the journey of everything we've been through last year has helped us cope as well, with leading into that, so I don't know why I went in on that, but it was just but yeah, I do believe that every day, if we're open to learning, it's going to set us up for something in the future that we are going to struggle with. But I think you have to have your struggles and have your emotions, and if you feel like crying, whether you're male, female, whatever you are, you let your emotions out. If Lon, if my little boy falls and cries, there was a few times that Matt would say to him, don't cry, a real man thing, and I'd say, let him cry if you want to, and Lon, cry. And I allowing him to have that emotions, because I do think over time, if you're afraid to cry, or have that emotion in you, it comes out in other ways, and I think if we feel our emotions and own them and name them, we can move on from them. Instead of carrying with us a big fucking lorry of baggage. No,
it's there's another book. It was written. It's called The Book of Five Rings.
Oh, I've never read that one.
Yeah, it's everyone should read it.
Right.
So it's about a samurai who has killed up to 500 people in sword fights.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but he talks about emotion.
Yeah.
He really goes into it.
Yeah.
And a lot of men, how they're doing things, when you read this book, a skilled samurai knows his emotions, can show them.
Yeah.
Poetry, art, reading,
yeah,
all this stuff, what real men do.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They understand. My son there a while ago, he had a bad night, he spars, he does MMA,
yeah,
he had a bad night, and it's and I've come across other MMA fighters, and I'd speak to them openly, because if you're not open, that stuff goes inwards. If you're after getting the head punched off you, it's normal to be upset.
Yeah.
But it's you don't have to hold that in around me.
Yeah.
I know what's after happening.
Yeah.
I've had bad nights.
Yeah.
Everyone has bad nights.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're
Let's talk about it. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's just let it go, man.
Yeah.
And you'll be better tomorrow.
Yeah.
Just get rid of it.
Yeah.
And you'll be better tomorrow.
And that's it.
It's
instead of holding it in,
it's
let it out.
Yeah, no.
Let it out.
Let it out.
Is anybody watching this and you're feeling that emotion and you're afraid to talk, just let it out, because holding anything in is not good for, it's not good for you, but it's not good for the people around you.
Yeah.
As well. And if you care about the people around, and sometimes this is the thing, sometimes we care more about the people around us. So if you flip it and you start to think, okay, this is affecting my kids or my family, sometimes you will actually let it out more. Whereas it's terrible to say sometimes we love others more than we love ourselves. So when you start working on yourselves and loving yourselves, then you won't be afraid to let your emotions out. And then just to say, this is how I feel today. Actually, that's another thing. Do you ever notice the way we say, I'm angry? I'm so fucking angry. So I go, fucking. My dad give out if he sees me coursing.
My man, I'd listen to that. It's too much language on it. Just too much man, you know who I am.
But so for instance, if you say, the likes of I'm so fucking angry, but you don't say that when you're happy. You say, I feel happy.
Yes.
So when you're happy, you say, I feel happy, which means when you say I feel happy, you know that you're just saying at this moment in time I feel happy. But you don't say I'm a happy person, but you say I'm angry.
Yes.
You never say I feel angry right now.
Yeah.
And knowing that if you say I feel angry, that means that you feel angry right now and it's going to leave you. But if you keep saying I'm angry, I'm so angry, you're actually calling yourself an angry person.
Yeah, yeah.
So if you actually start to just change that and say, do you know what, today I just feel angry, or today I feel upset, or right now I feel this way, And like I've actually started to say, I've said it for years, but I'm a happy person because I'd rather own the person that I am, and I am a happy person. But sometimes I feel angry. Instead of saying, I'm angry, but I feel happy. Sometimes, flip it, because you're naming yourself as I'm angry. I'm angry. I'm depressed. I'm anxious. But if you actually say I feel anxious, I feel depressed today, I feel sad today, that's how you feel. But you know that it's going to end at some time because it's just a feeling at that moment.
No, 100%. I'm all over it. All over it. All over it. Take me a long time to get to that, but I'm all over it now.
Yeah, it changes.
Pain is the touchstone to progression.
Love that.
You like that one?
Love that. It is. Love that.
It is.
Yeah.
Like trying to explain to somebody, come here to me, when the sheriff is knocking at the door, this is how you're going to feel. They will never understand it until you're like, I can't breathe. I can't breathe.
Oh, it's like, it's horrific. No, it is, because you're just like, you're crumbling.
And you're in that moment after that, and you're all hurting. How dare tonight? And then you're like, that's never fucking happening to me again. Never, ever.
But then owning it and understanding why you got there in the first place and what happened, and like that as well, just owning that feeling around that, and then knowing that you can move forward. Like even down to affirmations. Like I do affirmations even around money now, and our journaling, writing stuff down daily, saying it out loud, looking in the mirror, and whatever you're feeling, whatever feeling that you have about yourself, like bad feeling, flip it, but saying like I am gorgeous in the mirror every day, and I have a beautiful body, and but saying it out loud really helps as well. Those mental thoughts.
No, 100%. Do you want to finish on
that
affirmation?
So this is the Daily Stoic Brian Penny gave to me, and it has a date in the book, but I just like to sometimes just open it up. So today I opened it up, and it says, it's easy to get better, but better at what? So this is by Marcus Aurelius, Meditations. So someone's good at taking down an opponent, but that doesn't make them more community minded or modest or well prepared for any circumstance or more tolerant of the faults of others. And then what Ryan Holiday then says about this is, self-improvement is a noble pursuit. Most people don't even bother, but among those who do, it's possible for vanity and superficiality to corrupt this process. Do you want six-pack abs because you are challenging yourself and committing to a difficult goal, or is it because you want to impress people with your shirt off? Are you running that marathon because you want to test your limits, or because you're running away from your problems at home? Our will shouldn't be directed at becoming the person who is in perfect shape or who can speak multiple languages but who doesn't have a second for other people. What's the point of winning at sports but losing in the effort to be a good husband, a good wife, father, mother, son or daughter? Let's not confuse getting better at stuff with being a better person. One is much bigger priority than the other.
Perfect way to end. Thanks for listening to us. Please like, subscribe, check us out on Instagram, share our stuff. This will be up on YouTube tomorrow or the next day, up on Spotify, we're up on SoundCloud. Katrina, your socials, what are they? Katrina
Kelly Education on Instagram and TikTok I'm on now. And actually I run a clubhouse room called Salon Biz Growth Mindset every Monday at 5 p.m. and I'm KK Education on that. Thank you for having me.
No worries, that was deadly. Really enjoyed that. I'll switch that off now.
That's one of these bells, yeah. That was a pleasure.